The Lord of the Rings, The Rings of Power. So this has to be one of the most controversial series to come out for a while. And I myself really don't have any opinions on the show itself because I have not watched it. But it's not for the same reasons that you might be thinking, because there are plenty of YouTube videos even before this was released that basically didn't really enjoy this series at all before or after, especially Tolkien fans. And then it's not just the YouTubers, but also articles as well, which did not have a lot of praise for this. And even recently, after its season finale, The Rings of Power loses top spot on Prime Video to a new show from Westworld creators, The Peripheral. This does have Chloe Grace, who I do like as an actress. And so that is very surprising. And then another thing is, another very similar show, The House of the Dragon, had success. And at the same time, it had a lot more praise for the overall story, acting, and so forth. And this is great for fans of George R. Martin's original Game of Thrones, and they had a lot to live up to. So, needless to say, things haven't been going well for the show. And there's even rumors that, the Rings of Power showrunners, they're all going to be replaced, or at least the main ones. And this is actually from Chris Gore of the Film Thread. So, what are my thoughts on this since I have not seen the show myself? Well, the reason why I didn't watch the show is honestly, it just didn't really look interesting to me. Now, I myself did thoroughly enjoy the original Lord of the Rings 1, 2, and 3. And I didn't watch the Hobbit movies. I kind of just lost interest in watching it. But the Lord of the Rings original trilogy, I think, is one of the best, one of my favorite movie series of all time. And Peter Jackson just did an incredible job. And at least for the Lord of the Rings prior to that, I haven't read the books, but I do remember watching the original animated cartoon movies. They were really amazing. And that's kind of what I grew up on in terms of Lord of the Rings exposure. And so whenever I saw this trailer, or the trailers leading up to this, as I stated before, I am not a huge Tolkien fan. I'm just a Peter Jackson, Lord of the Rings fan. And I just didn't really see anything that made me want to watch it. And as I stated a little bit earlier, I haven't even watched the Hobbit series afterwards. And so if they were hoping to get the masses, and maybe I'm not a mass, consumer watcher, but I am a fan of this type of stuff, and I did enjoy The Lord of the Rings. But I guess Amazon was hoping that just with the name alone, that they could just put out anything. And obviously, that wasn't the case. And in this case, I think a lot of the responsibilities or blame, you might say, really goes on to the people who actually created this, wrote the stories, wrote the characters, and so forth. Because, a lot of the actors and actresses in here, they're really good, and some of these have been in other series and shows, like this person who plays Galadriel. She's been in many movies, as far as I understand, and shows in the UK. She is an accomplished actress, so I don't think it's really all to blame for these actors and actresses who are just doing their job. And so, because of this, I would say utter failure for the most part, where Amazon spent, I would say, nearly $1 billion to actually make this. They're definitely rethinking what they're going to do. And if they do want to capture not only the mainstream, but I think most importantly, the fans, because if you get the fans, they're going to do a lot of your marketing for you. So versus something like this, where it's like mostly all negative press, and it's the negative videos that are actually coming up on all these searches, which is definitely not a good thing. Then you definitely, I would say, want to make something that's really good, that I would say satisfies the fans first. And then you could spread out, because I think the Peter Jackson Lord of the Rings movies, it did exactly that. And I know it's not an easy thing, especially when there's so many people involved in making this, and with all the money, resources, and all the talented people who, spent the time, energy, and effort to make this, hats off to them, because that is a lot of work to produce this. It's just that you need everything else to work to make this something that is a success, not only financially, but more importantly, a success for the people that you are trying to entertain and bring back into this world for many more episodes to come. So if you actually had any thoughts on the Rings of Power, be sure to leave it in the comments area below. And if you did want to see more of my sci-fi or fantasy series or movies reviews, I do have an entire playlist. I'll leave that in the description area below. Protect your online privacy and keep data brokers from selling your personal information by using Delete Me, the #1 privacy information remover service since 2010. Sign up today and get 20% off your first order. For more information, check out the affiliate link in the description area below.